Friday, the 24th of November. Welcome, everyone, to Business Morning. We welcome our viewers here in Nigeria, across the country, and around the world. Let's get the show started. I am Bosun Mofaye. We have a lot of interesting one-hour conversation, and some of our viewers are already on Twitter since yesterday when this conversation started. Let's unveil that in a few minutes, but let's get started with what came late yesterday evening. Owando, Nigeria's energy trading company, versus the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Nigerian Stock Exchange. The judge at the Lagos Federal High Court says, face the music, or rather, face the regulator. The High Court throws out the energy traders' suit, says the court has no jurisdiction to entertain Owando's petition to stave off the plan by the SEC to send independent forensic audit into the energy firm and place its shares on technical suspension at the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And that's the story. So now the energy company who has been asked to go face the regulator squarely and says it will not entertain the petition to stop the SEC and the Nigerian Stock Exchange from moving ahead, from investigating the oil company that's been embattled for a number of years. So, sources within the SEC told Business Morning today that a crucial meeting is being held as we speak to plan the next line of action on Thursday's Lagos Federal High Court ruling against Owando Nigeria PLC. How will the SEC and the Stock Exchange go next now that the court has cleared the petition against the SEC and the Stock Exchange by Owando? That's where it is now. We're following that very closely for you. There's a lot of discussions about the 2019 elections. Now the Sokoto State Governor Tambuwal has a few words to say. It's been reported today, and he says elected office holders need to discuss more about governance. He says by the time you raise issues about 2019 and 2017, you're distracting the entire polity. That's what Aminu Tambuwal, the governor of Sokoto State, has to say about those discussions about the next elections when we should be discussing governance. He told journalists on Thursday that Nigeria, the political office holders need to talk about the economy and governance first, since the administration is just halfway and you don't start discussing the next elections when you haven't done the jobs yet on your table. We just feel we should throw that in there, coming straight. Then we have this story from the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing. The minister, Babatunde Fashola, says the federal government is erecting new toll gates at the old locations across Nigeria. If you live in Lagos and work here, you have an idea where some of the old toll gates were, isn't it? So expect those toll gates to reappear. The minister says 38 toll spots are already being identified. The tolls will be collected only on roads that are built and maintained. It says not on bad roads. In the meantime, they're working on the standard design of all the toll gates across the country. 38 of them will be springing up, coming back from the dead. They were scrapped, I guess, sometime during the Obasanjo's administration, the second term, I guess. But then the toll gates will be back across the country, and you will have to pay your way. Meantime, the African Development Bank has invested $500 million, says it's investing $500 million in Nigeria's new development bank, partly equities, that's about $100 million, and the rest will be loan financing for small, medium and small enterprises. Will be given as facilities to microfinance firms, or microfinance banks in particular, and commercial banks for onward lending into the Nigeria's various sectors. That's one news there this morning. The AFDB team are still in the country holding meetings with various ministries and government agencies in aviation, in DFIs and all of that. They're going to be here, a critical partner for Nigeria's development. So we get into the big story about the state of Abuja. I came back just 2 days ago, and of course, one of the tweets I've ever sent have gotten hundreds and hundreds of reactions from Nigerians asking, because the question is, what is the economy of Abuja really? There's no real information available precisely on what the Abuja's economy is, aside being called Nigeria's capital city. I've gone through the internet trying to find out exactly what does Abuja stands for, aside being Nigeria's political capital. So the question is, what's the rationale behind the increasing number of multi-million-dollar housing estates, largely unoccupied for years, been built in and around Abuja? In the last 48 hours, it's been interesting. I started tweeting when I was about boarding the planes out of Abuja back to Lagos on Wednesday evening, and very interesting. I said it was a funny business in the city. So today we're talking about the business and industries of Nigeria's capital city. I tried to dig around a little bit. So let's look at Washington, D.C., the political capital of the United States. According to Wikipedia, in 2014, the total GDP of Washington stands at $425 billion US. That's more than the entire GDP of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Washington alone. And that's the 14th largest state economy in the United States. The per capita GDP as of 2009 for Washington, D.C. was $52,403 per person, each person who lives in Washington. The total GDP per capita for Nigerians, each one of us, both in Mofaye inclusive, is about $2,000 or $1,200, less than $2,000. That's the story. So Washington is not just a political capital of the United States, but also an economic center for the country known by the name United States. Then I went also to check through. You can see some of the businesses that are done in Washington. Design and manufacture of aircraft. Boeing is doing business. You have computer software development. You have telecom companies, biotechnology, doing lumbering and wood products, as well as mining. So I decided to come back to Africa and talk about Accra, a very close neighbor. It's the political capital of Ghana. And in 2008, the World Bank estimated Accra's economy at about $3 billion US. Of course, that should have gone higher than then. That's the $3 billion of the total GDP of the Ghanaian economy. And the economically active population of Accra is around 823,000, according to Wikipedia. These are very easy. You can just punch the button and check them out. So let's get this conversation started. And we're going to squeeze in the markets as well, including the MPC decisions of Tuesday the 21st and the risks that lie ahead for the 2018 outlook on monetary policy easing.